anymore. They need to be ranked.
I give credit to the New York Yankees. This is the Sports Saga podcast. It is presented by Aldias Electric, the Gonzalez family team of Keller Williams South Watuppa, and Smack Apparel, the official fan gear of the Sports Saga podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you might be watching this. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy Easter weekend, all who observe. Brady Kudo with one of the co-hosts of the Side Draft podcast. They just dropped those shirts, by the way. $25. It's worth it. Justin Vieria is with us. Justin, thank you for taking the time. I know the schedule's busy. Let's get right into it. The Side Draft podcast is one of the fastest growing racing podcasts in the region. Take me into that. How did it get started? Where are you hoping to see this wind up in the next year or 2 years or so?
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it because, we had you on the show. We know that you're doing with the Sports Soccer podcast, which is also, it's a great watch for local people or people anywhere, to get some good sports, opinionated information, all across college, pro sports. So I appreciate
Underline
that.
the word opinionated.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it was weird how it started because my father-in-law used to do a Fall River based show on FFN radio, and he's friends with Colby and Jeremy Lambert through work. And knowing that I was a race car fan and I enjoyed going to Seekonk Speedway, he had them on as guests and he wanted me to co-host it. So we did. It was a great show. We had fun. Then it turned, one thing led to another. They said, well, why, it was him along with Blaze from FFN. They just says, hey, why don't you try doing this every week, find different drivers every week and kind of do that because, a lot of people go to Seekonk Speedway and a lot of people, from wherever they're from that watch this, whether it's Lee or Waterford or Thompson, they go watch these guys race. And sometimes they can't put faces to these guys that are driving the cars. They just hear the names. They don't know who they are as people. They don't know what they do outside the track or what they do even on a weekly basis to race. So being a big supporter of local people and local business and local entrepreneurs, local anything, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give this a shot, and I'm just going to start interviewing drivers. So far, we've only done Seekonk drivers, but, we're moving on to, we've met some people down in Hickory and hopefully like next week in New Hampshire, when we go to Loudon, we meet some new people. So it's just about getting their stories out, and then we have a good time. It's uncensored. We drink on the show, we swear on the show. We try and keep it as most family oriented as we can, but you have to, a lot of people who don't know drivers, how they are. Their attitudes are kick ass. They don't give two shits. They don't give two craps about what anybody says. Sorry, see, I'm already doing it, but they don't care, and that's what makes, you go on to a lot of other podcasts like that. They have to reserve themselves. And I says, you know what, if we're going to do this show, we're going to do it completely open. We're going to let them say what they got to say, whether it's talking trash, whether it's good things to say about one another. And we just have a good time. So it's been fun, and we're doing big things and we're getting there. So it's definitely been fun.
Yeah, I think that the style of it is really, really cool because you have, shout out to Blaise St. Pierre, who is running that.
Right.
Where when we're doing this, we are smaller. I will say, let's compare the two. I don't want to compare the two shows, but you are by far leaps and bounds ahead of us, which I thought was great. It was a great experience for me, is going on, putting the brand more out there, you know what I mean? Putting your brand out there. I can't get over how good those shirts came out. So what got you into racing in the first place? Did you grow up around the sport, or were you watching Dale Sr. win the Daytona 500 and you were like, yeah?
Oh yeah, it's a mixture of both. My dad used to be friends with a few guys that used to do a lot of like the spectator drags back in the day.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid in the early 90s, and a lot of like the cool, I don't know if they were called thrill show events back then, but they used to do a lot of those, and they used to run their street cars on the track and stuff. So I remember going as a kid a lot. I definitely have a lot of memories, and there's a lot of pictures of, my dad holding us up on the fence, me and my brother, in the early 90s at Seekonk Speedway. So it was cool. And then, yeah, it was more, I became a NASCAR fan I was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan, a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan, and obviously most popular driver for 17 years in a row or something like that. It was crazy, but it was NASCAR was just something I fell in love with it because you get the competition, you get a family oriented. It's the most family oriented sport there is.
It is.
Bar none, and you can talk trash to one another about your drivers, and at the end of the day, you're cracking a beer and you're hanging out in the parking lot with one another. You know what I mean? It's the greatest thing ever. And so it was just a mixture of the two, and then when I had my son is 4 years old, Justin Jr., he started showing interest. He wanted a lot of toy cars and he wanted to go. I bought him a go-kart and he just wanted to go fast. So I said, we're gonna try it. We're gonna take him, and he's loved it. So
Wow.
I'm kind of like reliving it. It's coming full circle. I get to enjoy it a little bit more now because I bring my son. I see that he enjoys it. So it's kind of like it's the best of both worlds. I remember going as a kid. I'm kind of doing it with my son now too, and plus obviously huge NASCAR fan. Always been a huge NASCAR fan. So it helps when you're a fan, and it helps when you kind of have that little bit of background, to just sit back and watch races as a fan. It helps.
So you're saying in 3 years, when your son turns of age, you're saving up for that Bandolero? Is that what?
If hopefully Danielle can't hear me, but when we talk to all these drivers, it's funny when we're off live or like pre-show or post-show. I'm always asking them like, hey, in a couple of years, because I know the sport. You know what I mean? I'm an automotive knowledge guy, but I don't know all the ins and outs of. I worked on Jeremy and Colby's car for one night last week, and I was blown away about wedge and what they're doing for their camber and their toe, and how they want the car to sink to those things. I don't know. I'm not a race car driver, so I'm asking all these drivers at the end of every podcast, like in a couple of years, my son's gonna be in a car and we're gonna need some help, and guys like Ronnie Luro and we had Jerry DeGasperi last night, and all these guys,
I love
Greg
Jerry.
Perry, they're all like, dude, bring it on, like let's go, we'll get you guys going. So it's
Especially,
been.
I mean, I know Greg more than I know Jerry. Greg, I mean, he is one of the. You can't miss him in the pitch, right? You cannot miss him. He's usually the loudest one there, the best beard bar none at Seacon, the nicest guy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, his sister Gretchen, she has 2 kids that race, Brett and Bryson. They're great. I know. I mean, I don't. Again, like I said, I don't know Jerry as much as I know Greg, but Jerry's super down to earth. Like, 7-time champ. You know what I mean? That's the beauty about, at least. Like, I can't speak for the drivers who have their home tracks at Stafford or Waterford or Lee or Thompson or whatever the case may be. Well, I can speak for Waterford a little bit, but Seaconk, it's all. No one's gonna go to Stewart Haas Racing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'd love to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'd love to see it. No one's gonna go, go race for JGR.
Right.
That's like, there's so much more family than there is competition here. And I'm not like, hey, let's give everyone no. I don't believe in participation trophies. I'm
with you on that. Yeah.
I believe in being competitive, but not being a jerk. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I love about the Seacon, because that's what I've played baseball, I've played basketball, I've been around soccer, I've been around track and field. I call hockey, I call football. Not there is, except maybe hockey, there is nothing that compares to number one, how fast racing is, and number two, the family style.
And I mean, like, just Jerry said it. I'll just say real quick, is like Jerry was saying it last night. We talked a little bit about the playoff point system and a couple of things that he wasn't a fan of, and he said it straight out. He's like, "What do I come here every week to do? It's to win, and that's plain and simple. And I'm gonna rub doors, I'm gonna bang fenders. I'm there to win. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when somebody wrecks and they need help fixing their car to get out for the next feature, everybody's helping them get that car ready because nobody wants to see them miss out. So it's when the helmets are strapped, we're there to win, and we don't give nothing about anybody. But but when it comes down to it, they also want those guys to be their best when they're out there. And they're going to help each other get that way. And that's the greatest thing about local racing. at any track. Local racing in general is just probably the greatest. It's the foundation of the sport.
It is.
Every driver in the sport has come from the weekly series, whether it's legends like Joey Logano or, whatever it is, running dirt late models or whatever, those are local hometown tracks. And that's where every driver is coming from. It just, some other tracks get more notoriety and they get more publicity, and that's what helps them. Seekonk doesn't get as much, on a grander level. But some of these drivers, I mean, like you said, they're probably not going to go to Stuart Haas, or they're not going to go race the big time in the Cup Series. Some of them probably have the talent to. They might not have the
5%.
Right. But you have to have the money, you have to have the sponsors, you have to know people. We just talked about that last night too. Like Custer wouldn't have a ride if he didn't know somebody, and it's just those things. Everything has to click at the same time. But these guys still go out, spend money, and they compete every week, which is great.
Yeah, which I think because, I've yet to meet a race car driver that is a physician by day. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hope there is. I've yet to meet one. A lot of guys I talk to the pits, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a plumber. Oh, I'm an electrician. I'm in the union. I BEW. Oh, I own a power equipment company.
Right.
I don't see doctor, lawyer.
Guys.
I'm a teacher. You know what I mean? Like teachers, thank God, in Massachusetts get paid a lot more than any other state. I didn't say doctor. I didn't say lawyer. I didn't say CEO of blah blah blah. I didn't.
Right.
I mean, Dave Darling owns half of Seekonk. God bless him. So, but you talk about talent to go run.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yep.
I'll put Dave up there with anybody.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. It is so wild. And that eased my nerves going into last year, because I didn't know a whole lot about racing. I was like, all right, well, we're going to try it. And then Robbie Hendrickson, Rich Helger, all these people, like, Brady, calm down. You're going to get to know people. You'll be fine. I mean, they were right.
Yep.
They were right. Robbie was the first person to reach out to me after I got the job. He was like, hey, because they put me in all the Facebook groups or whatever. So I was like, hey, I'm me, just saying hi, right? He was the first one to reach out and be like, congrats, you're going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And that's that. So it's just, the whole family, and I will always go back to it whenever I talk about the sport. Yep. The whole brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever the case whatever you want to be. That's the best part about it, I think. And I think we see it local level, we see it at the national level as well. And I'll go to you because we've got the Bristol Dirt Race coming up on Easter Sunday. Who do you like? Do you have a guy?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Bristol Dirt, I hate it. I honestly don't even care too much this week. Wow. Yeah, I know it's
probably the opposite.
Popular
I
opinion.
think it's great.
Oh, I hate it. See, I'm going to try and explain this as best way I can. Is Bristol is such a great track to race. Yes. Short track, very competitive racing when it's asphalt. I think if you want to run a dirt track in the Cup Series schedule, every year, once a year, do it at the Nashville Fairgrounds, or do it at one of these tracks that is meant to be a dirt track. Bristol is too good of a track to not run asphalt 2 times a year. And it's a crapshoot, because like last year, nobody thought Kyle Busch was going to win last year. Nobody thought Joe Logano was going to win. You're looking at guys like Austin Dillon, or, these guys that run dirt tracks, Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Larson. It's a crapshoot. You don't know what's going to happen. So honestly, I'll be probably, when there's 50 laps left, that's when I'll say, oh yeah, this guy's probably the favorite to win, because it's just going to be who's there at the end, who's in front. It's just, I think it's cool to run a dirt track. I do like the concept of running a dirt track, just not Bristol. Don't do it at Bristol. Bristol's one of the most favorited tracks across NASCAR's fan base to begin with, running asphalt. And I got the opportunity to go and watch the night race last year in Bristol. Nice. And there's nothing like it. Just keep Bristol asphalt 2 times a year, just like they should run New Hampshire 2 times a year still. New Hampshire's such a great track to run. But if you're going to run a dirt track, run it at one of these small fairground tracks, or if you wanted to turn Wilkesboro into a dirt track and run that once a year, just let Bristol be Bristol and let us run Bristol. So that's my opinion.
Yeah,
I think
that's fair.
it's going to be somebody random this week. It's probably going to be, Jesus Christ, I don't know. Ryan Priest has a shot. Ricky Stenhouse, of course, has a shot.
Hey, I'm rooting for Priest.
Yeah, me too.
Local guy.
Yep, me too. So, and obviously, like your Joey Logano's, who's just a wheelman, and Kevin Harvick. Some of these guys are just wheelmen that they can pull it off anywhere. But it's a crapshoot. Ask me when there's 50 laps left, and I'll give you a straight answer.
There we go. We're heading up to Loudon this summer for the first time to see the Cup race. So
yeah,
trying to explain the differences to my family between the races. I wasn't making fun of them, but it was kind of interesting because we're looking at the package because they're not running the trucks. They're running Xfinity, they're running the Cup, and the modifieds.
Modified, yeah.
It's the difference between Xfinities. Okay, so Cup Series, we're a baseball family. You look at the room. We're a baseball family. Cup Series is MLB. Xfinity's AAA. That just my mom. Oh, my dad. Oh, that just clicked. And it was awesome because okay, I can dim this down. Yep. Okay. I think I'm modified at single A, it's popular, double A, it's popular, but it's the guys that are just getting started.
Right.
And I was Kyle Souza, right? And my mom was yeah, I wrote some articles for him last year. And he was and I said, he runs the websites and the social media for a lot of these guys in the modified. I'm oh, okay. They're starting out. Kyle's company is still young.
Right.
So it was cool to put the correlation. So we're looking at the package. I'm we can go spend $40 a ticket to go see it at Loudon, or we could go see it for free on June 10th at Seekonk Speedway. So as a family, we were we'll choose the free. I was good job. Good job. I am really, really hoping Priest actually does run. I think I have an odd feeling he's going to run the modified at Stafford, New Hampshire, and I think he's going to run a Seekonk. I think he's going to hit a lot of the New England tracks. I'd like to see LaJoy get back into it. I know he did well, but he ran more down south though. He ran Martinsville.
Yeah, he did do really well in it.
He did very well.
He ran Martinsville. He ran a few tracks down south.
Fairgrounds, I think.
Very well.
He did really well. He's gonna get out of Spire Motorsports once he gets out of there.
Saying it for so long already. It's Jesus.
Once he gets out of there, I'll tell you what I think is my opinion. What I think is going to happen. I think Briscoe's going to take the 4, and I think LaJoy is going to get the 14.
I hope so. I really do.
I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I thought I had
shown enough glimpses of being a great driver in a Spire car. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, he was running up front. Last year, Atlanta, he was really competitive out of nowhere.
I thought he was going to win that race.
The guy can drive, and there was actually talks of him taking over the 9 car this year while Chase Elliott was out.
Yeah,
and I thought that would have been
awesome.
I'm do they need to do this because then people are going to see what Corey LaJoy is a wheelman. That guy can drive.
He can,
and it's just sad, that some of these lower budget teams, the drivers don't get that notoriety. You know what I mean, for really being drivers. It's they're competing, running 20th or 15th or 20th in a Spire car. I mean, that's better than Hendrick finishing in out of the top 10. It's just people need to realize that these low budget teams, they don't have what these big budget teams have. Not even close. So when they're running in the 10th to 20th, middle of the pack, that's great.
Wow, yeah. So, Corey
LaJoy needs a ride.
Yeah. LaJoy, Stenhouse can drive. It's good to see a team like JT G Daughtry win, but it's a long season. I'll throw it out there. I myself on this, I want to do an off-season special. Be all right, just hit it. Who needs a ride? What's open? Play matchmaker. We're running out of time actually. So Justin, we got to do this again. I think this was too short. I do thank you for coming on. Just know you are always welcome back here. Good luck. Love those t-shirts.
Yeah, we're gonna get you one. So just after message me your size, we'll get your t-shirt for sure.
Sure. Awesome. All right.
Appreciate you having me, buddy.
See you soon.
All right.